Hi, I'm Brandon Bronaugh, the transition expert, and today's guest is going to be Kristen. She's going to be talking to us about some of the things that she's experiencing in her home, and hopefully, you, the guest, can learn a lot from what we're going through, and maybe some of the information that we're going to be sharing today is going to be useful for you and your situation as well. Hi, Kristen.
Hi,
Hi, how are you?
I'm doing good.
Well, as you know, I'm the transition expert with LifeCycle Transitions, and I want to thank you for being a guest on our show today.
Yeah, no problem.
Yeah, and I wanted you to sort of talk to us about what you're going through and what some of the situations that you're faced with right now.
Uh, well, my husband and I are dealing with mental health issues. I've suffered from depression and anxiety a long time, and cleaning my house has become the thing I don't want to do. And every time I think about doing it, I get overwhelmed, and then I go into a spiral of depression, and then my anxiety takes over, and it just becomes a whole thing. And it's when you speak to a therapist about it, they say, start working on one thing at a time, focus on one room. But after neglecting it for so long, that becomes way too overwhelming in itself. And so I'm at the point now where I definitely need help.
Now, how many members are in your family?
It's just my husband and I.
Any pets or?
Oh, yes, we have a cat and a dog.
All right. And how long have you guys lived in the home?
We've been here 5 years.
All right. And have you guys lived together prior to that, or just in the home where you've just been in the home 5 years together, first time living together?
We've been living together for 10 years.
What was your living arrangement in the previous home?
It was an apartment, same as this one. And we just I guess we just accumulated more stuff as we lived, as most people do, and it just got overwhelming.
Life cycle sort of encompasses and embodies that nature of how we adjust to change. Life cycle clients range from the son or daughter taking care of the affairs for their mom or dad, from a recent retiree anticipating getting their house ready for sale and all the hassles and hurdles that they're going to have to take a home that's been in the family for 30, 40 years, or to a client that maybe struggled with hoarding, and don't quite know who to call or how to call to get help. Is we're the family when the family isn't there. Whether it's just too much of a daunting task for your loved ones or yourself to handle, you contact us. We answer the call, and they're definitely the solution for you. But did you have any of the similar situations occur there? Did you have any
Yes.
accumulation there? Now, of you and your husband, who do you think has the bigger issue with accumulating or attachments?
Definitely me. Growing up, I didn't really get to keep a lot of things. I was a military family, and so it's hard to really gather mementos and things when you only are allowed so many boxes to move things around. And so when I became an adult and I would have someone be like, "Oh, I'm going to keep this. It's a memory." And realizing later on that, oh, that's just a piece of junk. I don't know why I kept it in the first place.
Mm,
And so, and that'll happen, or I'll be at the store and be like, "Oh, that's a neat little thing. I could use that," and then I never use it. But I
mm.
keep telling myself to keep it because I might use it, and I never really do.
So, do you find that your biggest challenge is when you actually acquire or purchase something, or is it letting something go?
I think it's letting something go.
And what are you holding on to?
A lot of stuff.
Give me an
I'm
example of some of the things that you run across that may have a pattern to them.
I definitely have been. I've kept all of my textbooks from college, and I graduated college 10 years ago. There's no reason for me to keep these books. Most of them are outdated now because, as we all know, textbooks update themselves about every year. So they're out of date, and there's no reason to keep them. I have a lot of knickknacks and crafts that I got in Girl Scouts and swap meets that Yeah, they were cute when I got them, and they were a fun little memory of meeting new friends. But now it's like, what am I supposed to do with this beaded bracelet type of thing? It's just random little things like that that just accumulated over time.
Now, has anyone in your family suffered from similar situations?
Yes, my both my parents have issues with letting things go. Um, their garage is a standpoint to that. We moved it when they moved into their house when we were first retired from the military. All the boxes were put in the garage, and nothing was really like unpacked. They just bought more stuff.
Okay.
And the one time I tried to go out there and help them clean it out, it became oh no, well, we want to keep this. That's a memory, or we want you to have this in the
Right.
future. And I told them, I was like, I don't want this.
Now, Kristen,
So that,
Kristen, do you come from a military family?
yes,
So your father's father was in the military as well.
yes. My family is generations of military.
So constant movement.
Yes.
Interesting. Now, well, the reason I mentioned that in a lot of cases, I've worked with individuals that were also in the military, and the constant change of of surroundings and making new friends, and feeling like you have to start over. One would can understand the affinity or the attachment to stability, and not changing and not having to up and leave. Um, did you find that it was difficult for you to make new friends every time you relocated?
Uh, when I was younger, it was easy because, when you're 5 years old, everyone becomes your new friend. But as I became a teenager and then we retired and um, we were in civilians, it was very difficult for me to find common ground with people
Uh-huh.
that were not military background like myself.
Right.
And I found myself leaning on the kids that were military kids, like I was, that were in the same area. Even if we'd had really nothing else going for us except for we were military kids. And that's what we all kind of latched onto. And when I got into college, it was even more difficult for me to find friends. A lot of times just stayed in my room or my dorm room, because I just didn't want to go and try and make new friends because I was scared of the rejection.
No, I mean, so that explains in a lot of ways why these stationary items meant so much to you, because you couldn't hold on to the new friends, you couldn't adjust this as quickly. Would you classify yourself as an introvert or an extrovert?
Uh, I'm an introvert with extrovert tendencies, so
Oh,
I
really?
like to keep. Well, yeah, well, I prefer to be by myself, but if I go out, then I'm going to be an extrovert. It's a very weird thing.
But,
My
but
dad's the same way. He would rather stay at home and just be by himself. But if he goes out, he's going to be. People are going to think he's the most extroverted person in the world.
I mean, because what usually happens in cases like yours is people become highly extroverts, where they become inept to adjusting to people, building rapport very quickly, elevator pitches. They never met a stranger. They make friends very easily, or they sort of go back into their shell where they become more introverted, and they do less of the building rapport quickly kind of scenarios, and they prefer to put that mask on when it's convenient, like to go to work and to build relationships, go to social gatherings or social environments. But deep down inside, there's a comfort. Would you say your comfort is in that extrovert mode or introvert mode?
Uh,
Because we can all
uh,
adjust. I'm just saying,
yeah,
where do you feel more comfortable?
it's I'm more comfortable being an introvert, but once I get into the flow of my extrovert activities, then I'm good to go. Uh, with the my line of work, I have to be very extrovert style
Okay.
because I work in a building. I'm a concierge, so it's like I have to, welcome people, talk to them, see what they need, and be very extrovert personality.
Right.
Uh, but the minute I go home, I'm like, I don't really want to talk to anyone else. I'm done, and
Mhm.
I want to just be me.
And that happens in a lot of cases. What that I've experienced with some of my clients is that they leave it on the field. I mean, they put 100% into their job. They do 100 things in the course of a day, but when they get home, they can't do one single thing. So it's not uncommon in situations like yours where you put so much work, so much emphasis in your work, and then you get home and then now you don't have the energy to do those daily chores. Now, let's dive into the home. What are those daily chores that you're dealt with every day?
Um, like right now,
Well, what are those situations that you're probably not getting to? What are you seeing uh,
uh,
starting to be neglected?
cleaning, doing laundry, washing the dishes, taking the trash out, or at least gathering the trash so we can take it out during trash day. We live in the city, so you only got one day to put trash on the street.
Absolutely.
Um, so those kind of things. It's one of those, when I start doing it, I get the overwhelming feeling and then I shut down.
Was there a recent death in your family? Do you feel imprisoned in your home due to clutter? Or have you recently fallen on hard times financially? Have you thought about renovating, or are you too fed up and simply want to sell your home and relocate? Let LifeCycle Transitions help you evaluate the true nature of your home and living requirements to help you decide whether to ditch it or fix. Our team of transition experts will alleviate your anxiety by going through every meticulous step with you, from renovating to selling your home. We will even help you find a new home for you if need be. Our team of local carpenters, realtors, and appraisers will ensure every measure is met and accurately completed within our 30-day guarantee. We'll make your problem our priority by completing your unique transition in a fraction of the time for a fraction of the cash. Take a look at our digit or fixed package options, and if this sounds great, give us a call and schedule your transition assessment today.
So it's just too much.
So since you have those attachment issues, what happens, Kristen, when people move or disturb or even take your things from you?
If it's something I really treasure, I get really upset if they try and take it away. If they move it or want to know about it, I don't really mind because I like being able to tell the story. But the minute they go, "Oh, let's just throw it away," then, or like that, I get really upset, and then I just completely shut down.
And how has these tendencies or these issues affected your relationship with your husband?
Um, we're kind of at a standstill right now when it comes to, well, everything. We're just kind of like living in the same space, and that's about it. And we're both at the point where neither one of us can really handle doing any of these chores. We both get overwhelmed with it. We both get okay, well, we're overwhelmed right now, we'll do it later, and then later never comes.
Do you have any guests that come over?
No, we don't have any guests that come to the house. I refuse to let people in the house.
Would you like to entertain people in the home, or are you more comfortable entertaining them elsewhere, or it doesn't matter?
I would like my friends to be able to come, and hang out, um, you know, have a movie night or something. That would be great. I would love for me to be able to host my parents when they come to visit, and do the touristy Boston life. I would love for them to stay here instead of spending money at an expensive hotel, but that's just not logistically going to happen with the way our house is right now.
And how did the pandemic? How did you adjust to the pandemic? How did the pandemic affect you and your home?
Honestly, the pandemic really didn't affect us. My husband was already working from home before working from home became the COVID-19 norm, and I was an essential worker, so I was still working.
Okay, so you were still leaving the home every day.
Yes.
Okay. Now, with him being that he's working from home in the items and accumulation and so forth, none of those things that you think have affected him, or having those things addressed, do you think it will improve his work ethic, or his quality of work rather?
I think once we address it and get everything done, I think it will improve
Okay.
everything. Because we both
I,
do have health issues, major allergies that would definitely benefit from a deep clean and getting everything done.
And what brought you to LifeCycle? What necessarily stood out?
Well, I did a Google search for mental health and deep cleaning, and you guys were the first link, and I looked you up, and I was like, oh, they sound like they actually like they just don't do the cleaning, they actually like find the root of the problem so it doesn't happen again.
Mm. Have you ever dealt with this before? I mean, well, or if not, what was the closest you've ever gotten to it?
No, I have not. I don't even think I've even gotten close. Probably the closest is when we moved, and I just threw away a lot of stuff, and then the day of the move, I just gave up and said, if it's still here, it's trash, and I didn't want to deal with it.
Mm. And have you had any recent loss in your family? Anything traumatic happened in the last 3-5 years?
We've had a couple deaths in the family, old age, but other than that, no.
Okay. So your childhood, you don't think had anything to do with why you accumulated, other than the military experience. Was there anything else that maybe spawned you to feel like maybe keeping these items and keeping these things in certain ways is an insulation for maybe some other past traumas?
No.
Okay. Well, what would you like to do? I mean, what's the goal?
My goal is to have a livable home and be able to enjoy living in my house and not just be full of anxiety every time I come in. It's thinking of the millions of things that should be done that I just don't have the mental ability to do at that time because my depression just won't let it happen.
Now, on your list of reasons or things that you should do this for, what would you say are the top 3 reasons why you should do this?
To enjoy my living space, to have friends over again. That would definitely be one of those. I would love to have my friends come over, and just my mental health to improve.
Yeah, because you mentioned earlier that you and your husband both have been struggling with mental health. And you said that the pandemic, the isolation and things like that, you don't think had affected you guys during this time period?
No, our mental health was well established before the pandemic really hit.
Okay. Well, I think getting this house together, like you said, is going to greatly improve your mental health. It's going to also improve your relationship with your husband. It's going to welcome your social life to improve by having family and friends over. I think you seem like you're a bit of an introvert with extrovert capabilities and qualities. So I think you're going to enjoy having them over the house and being able to entertain and to host your loved ones. I think the next step in this process is that we can get out to the home, do a thorough walkthrough, and sit down with you and talk a little bit more in depth about what the next steps are going to be. Would that sound great to you?
Yes.
All right, perfect. Thank you so much for being a guest on the show. Stay tuned. This is another episode of the Transition Expert. I'd like to thank Kristen for being a guest on our show. We're going to be working with her exclusively from here on out to get the place transitioned so that we can accomplish those 3 goals that she's looking to accomplish. Thank you again, Kristen, for being a guest on the show.
Hey, thank you so much.
You're very welcome.